Monsties, stop and listen to this immediately. The K-pop world is currently in an uproar, and this time the news involves one of the most phenomenal monster rookies of the year. It is none other than the powerhouse vocalist of BABYMONSTER, Ramy. Imagine scrolling through social media waiting for a comeback schedule update when suddenly a screenshot of Ramy's Korean Wiki profile appears and sends the entire fandom into a panic. The information there is truly shocking. Under the education section, there is a note stating that Ramy dropped out of Hanlim Multi-Arts High School. This is especially confusing because, according to the academic calendar, Ramy was supposed to celebrate her graduation tomorrow, January 8, 2026. Why would this happen now? Why, at the very last moment before the iconic graduation ceremony, would her status change to dropped out? Is BABYMONSTER's schedule so demanding that Ramy had to sacrifice her education, or is there something bigger being hidden by YG Entertainment? In this pembahasan, we are going to break down all the theories, the wild reactions from Korean netizens, and the speculations regarding Ramy's future. Make sure to stay tuned until the end because this information is truly mind-blowing. Before we get into the details, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss breaking news like this. Let us dive in. For those who might be new to the K-pop world or have recently started following BABYMONSTER, let us look at the context of who Ramy is. Shin Haram, known by her stage name Ramy, is a vocal queen regarded as the successor to the legendary vocal throne at YG Entertainment. Her visuals are top tier and her talent is undeniable, with a voice that is incredibly soulful. Since she was first introduced, Ramy has stood out because she's not just an ordinary idol, she's the definition of an ace. She attended a very prestigious institution, Hanlim Multi-Arts High School. Hanlim is essentially the elite hub for idols, with famous alumni ranging from members of Twice and ITZY to senior artists at YG. Ramy was enrolled in the practical music department. Fans have always been proud to see photos of Ramy in her iconic Hanlim uniform, looking like the main character of a high school drama. Throughout her career, everyone expected Ramy to follow in the footsteps of other idols who graduated with pride, posing in front of the school photo wall with bouquets from fans. In fact, on fan calendars, January 8, 2026 was marked as Ramy Graduation Day. Everyone was ready to trend hashtags to celebrate her achievement. However, this news about her dropping out appeared out of nowhere. Her Korean Wiki profile, which is usually updated with high accuracy by dedicated netizens, now shows the status dropped out next to Hanlim Multi-Arts High School. This has left everyone asking the same question: is Ramy okay? Let us examine the details found in the viral screenshot. In the education section, it clearly states Hanlim Multi-Arts High School, Practical Music Department, dropped out. What makes this even more dramatic is that the profile lists her entire educational history, from Seoul Junghung Elementary to Jong'an Middle School, all of which were completed successfully. But upon reaching Hanlim, the status changes. Typically, when an idol graduates, the text changes to graduated. If they are still enrolled, it says attending. Dropped out is a very heavy term in South Korea. Netizens moved quickly to discuss. Many speculate that this update is not random. In Korea, local wiki profiles, like Namu Wiki, are often updated based on evidence found by fans or leaked internal information. Not long ago, there were rumors that BABYMONSTER's promotion schedule would become even more intense in early 2026. Many are connecting the dots, suggesting Ramy left school to focus 100% on the group. But the question remains, why now? Why not a year ago? Why just one day before the official graduation ceremony? There's another theory suggesting this might be a technical error or a prank by an irresponsible individual, but Korean wiki editors are usually very strict. If false information is posted, it is typically removed within minutes. The fact that the dropped out status remained long enough to cause a stir in online communities is concerning. fans on social media are deeply divided. Some argue that Ramy doesn't need a diploma because she has a bright future at YG, while others are saddened. Education is highly valued in Korean culture, and seeing their favorite idol leave school at the final moment is heartbreaking for many. Now, let us look at what Korean netizens and international fans are saying. On major forums like Pon and the Coup, the debate is very heated. One netizen commented that it's a shame if it's true, considering she was only one step away from finishing. Others took a more pragmatic view, noting that many idols do this due to insane schedules, and that she might take a qualification exam later when she has more time. There's also a significant amount of concern. Some fear this is a sign that BABYMONSTER's workload is too heavy. It's well known that YG schedules can be grueling, sometimes leaving idols with very little sleep. People are wondering if Ramy felt pressured between attending classes and practicing vocals until dawn. On the other hand, international fans are offering a lot of moral support. Many have stated they will love Ramy regardless of her educational status, noting that she's already a legend at a young age. However, it's important to remember that as of this moment, YG Entertainment has not released an official statement. There has been no word from Hanlim High School either. Therefore, the wiki status remains unconfirmed. We must remain calm, as it could be an administrative issue or even a data entry error. Regardless of the reality, one thing is certain: Ramy remains Ramy. She is someone who has worked incredibly hard since a young age to reach her current position. If she has indeed chosen to focus entirely on music, we know she will give it her all. BABYMONSTER is just beginning their grand journey, and Ramy is a central pillar of the group. We must also understand that the idol world is extremely competitive. Sometimes sacrifices must be made. Even if fans feel it's a pity she might miss the ceremony tomorrow, if this was the best decision for her mental health and career, it should be respected. Imagine the pressure of practicing every day, filming music videos, promoting overseas, and still having to think about school assignments. Ramy is a human being, not a robot. If she had to choose, it was likely a very difficult and brave step. Still, many hold on to the hope that we will see photos of Ramy in her graduation gown on January 8, 2026. We want to see her smiling with her classmates, celebrating the completion of her high school years amidst her busy life as a global star. That concludes our pembahasan regarding the breaking news about Ramy. What do you think about this situation? Do you believe Ramy actually dropped out of Hanlim, or is this just a wild rumor? How important do you think formal education is for an idol at the peak of their career? Please share your thoughts in the comments so we can discuss this further. If you found this pembahasan helpful, please like the video and share it with your fellow fans. Don't forget to subscribe and keep your notifications on, because we will continue to monitor this story as it develops, especially tomorrow on the scheduled graduation date. We'll have to wait and see if there's any surprise announcement from YG. Thank you for watching, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next pembahasan. The deeper we look into this situation, the more we realize that the pressure on third-year high school idols is unlike anything else in the entertainment industry. For someone like Ramy, who is not only a member of a global group, but also their main vocal backbone, the balancing act between a rigorous curriculum and a worldwide spotlight is almost superhuman. In the Korean education system, the final year of high school is notoriously difficult, culminating in months of intense preparation. When you add the global expectations placed on a YG entertainment artist, it becomes clear that something eventually has to give. One major point of discussion among industry insiders is the timing of these educational decisions. Usually, if an idol decides to leave school to focus on their career, they do so during their trainee days or in their first year of high school. For a student to reach the very end of their senior year and then reportedly drop out just hours before the ceremony suggests a conflict that could not be resolved. This leads to questions about the specific requirements for graduation at Hanlim Multi-Arts High School. While the school is famous for being idol-friendly, they still require a minimum number of attendance days to grant a diploma. If BABYMONSTER's recent international schedules or secret comeback preparations prevented Ramy from hitting those final attendance markers, the school might have had no choice but to list her as having not completed the course. This brings us to a broader pembahasan about the welfare of young artists in the 4th and 5th generations of K-pop. We are seeing idols debut younger than ever, and as the industry expands globally, the demands are no longer just local. A rookie group today isn't just performing on music shows in Seoul. They're flying to Japan, the United States, and across Southeast Asia for brand deals, festivals, and fan meetings. For Ramy, who has been praised for her maturity and professional conduct, the decision to potentially step away from her studies right at the finish line must have been a heavy burden to carry. It highlights a systemic issue where the peak of an idol's debut often overlaps perfectly with the most critical years of their education. Furthermore, we should consider the cultural impact of this news within South Korea. While international fans often view a high school diploma as optional for a successful artist, Korean society still places a massive premium on educational milestones. Graduation photos are a rite of passage that humanizes idols, making them relatable to their peers who are also graduating. If Ramy truly did not graduate, it marks a significant shift in her public image from a student idol to a full-time professional entertainer. Some analysts suggest that this might even be a strategic move to signal that BABYMONSTER is entering a period of unprecedented activity, leaving no room for outside distractions. In similar past cases, idols who were unable to finish high school due to their careers often turned to the qualification examination for high school graduation, known as the GED in other countries. This allows them to obtain the equivalent of a high school diploma on their own schedule, without the strict attendance requirements of a physical school. If the Wiki update is indeed accurate, it is very likely that Ramy will take this route in the future. Many top-tier stars have done exactly this, proving that dropping out isn't the end of an educational journey, but rather a pivot to a more flexible path. However, we must also address the possibility of a mistake in the Wiki documentation. Public edited databases, while usually maintained by dedicated fans, are not immune to errors in interpretation. Sometimes, a change in a student's status to non-completer or a deferral of graduation can be misinterpreted by a contributor as a permanent dropout. Until an official statement is released or until the graduation ceremony passes without her presence, we should treat the information with a degree of caution. The K-pop community has seen many instances where confirmed rumors turned out to be simple misunderstandings of administrative paperwork. In the end, what matters most is Ramy's well-being. Whether she walks across that stage tomorrow or chooses to focus entirely on her music, her talent remains undeniable. She has already achieved more at her age than most people do in a lifetime. As fans, the best thing we can do is offer support rather than judgment. The life of an idol is a series of impossible choices, and Ramy has proven time and again that she has the strength to navigate this industry. We will be watching closely tomorrow to see if any official news surfaces. If she is there, we will celebrate her graduation. If she is not, we will celebrate her dedication to her craft and the bright future that lies ahead for her and BABYMONSTER. This pembahasan shows us that being a K-pop star is about much more than just glamour and hit songs. It involves real-life sacrifices that we often don't see behind the scenes. Let us keep the conversation going. Do you think the K-pop industry should do more to accommodate the education of its young stars, or is this just the price of fame? Your insights are always valued in this community, so please keep sharing your thoughts as we wait for the final word on this developing story. Stay tuned for our next update, where we will hopefully have more concrete news from YG Entertainment.